put a fighter in your corner.
And welcome back to the Walton Law Firm Show. Well, hello, Trip.
Welcome.
Well, hello, Trip. It's so nice to have you back where you belong.
It's good to wake up and on set.
You're looking swell, Trip. I can tell, Trip. Because you're going strong. Man, how the heck are you?
I'm strong.
You strong. I just said it, didn't I?
You know,
and I didn't lie. He is.
It's amazing. I hate to say it, but I'm all tore up.
Uh-oh.
I've had back issues forever. I mean, I had back surgery in 2004 at L5S1, lower spine.
Okay.
Only 2 people in the world do that procedure. And he's gone to Miami, so I'm not going to Miami.
Unless you're going to the beach.
Now I've been wrestling for the last 30 years with L2, L3, upper lumbar, lower back, upper. And so I went to Birmingham to see a new group of hot shots.
Okay.
And they've got gadgets that they're going to think they can put in on the back of the spine, and they crank it up, and it gives you the space and gets it off your nerve. But I have a herniated disc at L2, L3. So Monday, at the crack of dawn, I'm going to go in and have a nerve block done.
Okay.
And although I don't hold much hope for the nerve block to fix anything because it's a herniated disc, I'm sure that's an insurance protocol. And then we can get down to business with their spacers that they put in. But it's very interesting. It's let me think what the name of that thing is. You pull it up on YouTube and look at it.
Is that why you sent me that YouTube video with this bone specialist?
Yeah.
Talking about
Vertiflex.
The guy was, wow.
Vertiflex.
Okay.
And they drill a hole in your back, and they go, your back, the back of your vertebrae have bones that come off of it and go down the back. Mm-hmm. And they put the thing in there, and then they crank it up, and it spaces it.
Okay.
But they only put 2 in your spine. Mm-hmm. And he said, you need about 10. But they put them at the best places. It's for people with scoliosis, which is when your legs start hurting, because your disc, you just gotten old, and your disc get bone on bone.
Gotcha.
They press down the disc. The vertebra is the bony part, and the disc is the soft tissue kind of part, and it just crushes it down. So when you look at mine are almost all flat. And the C5-6 is flat as a pancake. I crushed it playing football at Auburn in 1978, and it has never had, I've had 2 or 3 neurosurgeons fight over wanting to cut on it. And thank goodness it somehow has, when it went flat and mashed the disc down, it's off the nerve, because when it hits the nerve, my biceps go numb and my pinchers go numb. So right now, the neck is okay, but we're going in the lower back Monday and starting that procedure. And, he said it may give you a month relief, it may give you a year. But that's where we're going to start. I said, well, you the boss.
Will they put you on there for this procedure?
Yeah, but it won't be long. It'll be outbound. I'll go in that morning and leave.
Right.
I'm probably going to spend the night, so I don't have to fight Monday morning traffic in Birmingham on 280.
That would be interesting.
But yeah, I'll be tense as a tick anyway. But I got that going, and then, I put in this hot shot gym because I'm such a hot shot workout freak.
Yes, he is.
So I laid down the other day with 2 60-pound dumbbells.
I'm glad you said dumbbells. I thought it was going somewhere else, but go ahead.
2 60-pound dumbbells. And when I laid down to do bench press, when I moved backwards to go up, I heard this, and I looked at my trainer and I said, "Did you hear that?" He said, "I didn't hear nothing." I said, "Would you get this right way? Because my arm is fixed to fall." So I ripped my shoulder, and I'd already torn it up about 30, 40 years ago, and the rotator cuffs had been ripped. I've had this one fixed, but this one, as long as I did shoulder work, it always healed itself up. So I'm back trying to move it.
Okay.
The beauty of my personal trainer is, though, he is also a physical therapist masseuse.
Oh.
Which ain't no pleasure.
No, it ain't.
Because when he throws your arm back and he puts the palm of his hand down in here, you want to kill him.
I know.
I mean, tears come to your eyes, but at least he can get it where I can use it that day.
Okay.
Once he works on it, I can work out.
Okay.
And then the next morning, like this morning, I got up at 4 and put my heating pad on. and got back into bed with the heating pad on my shoulder so it would be loose enough to sort of move a little bit.
So you got a few things going on right now.
That's maybe, more than anybody needed to know.
But you're still smiling
since
about
I need to go to therapy about it, I'm using my audience for therapy today about getting old.
You didn't know you were a therapist, did you?
But, the alternative ain't too good. And let's talk about the alternative. We lost Coach Leach.
Yeah.
Over at Mississippi State.
Uh-huh.
He died of heart issues, apparently. And that's tough. He was 61. I'm 65. So, you see a lot of people these days that are going a lot younger than I am. So
right.
That's tough, though, for the football world. I saw a quote where he said, of course, he'd been a coach at Mississippi State and I think Texas Tech, some other places.
Washington, yeah.
And he said, the quote was something like, I'm not an Auburn fan and I'm not an Alabama fan, but I love to say War Damn Eagles sometimes because it just feels like college football.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty cool quote. Of course, he also was trying to get a job at Auburn probably a month ago. So that might have been the reason for that quote. But anyway, what else is going on?
Well, speaking of Auburn, we finally got us a new coach.
We got a coach, and they were smart enough to keep Cadillac.
Uh-huh.
And they're going everywhere recruiting together. I hear stories they've been down in Montgomery visiting folks, and if they probably come up here visiting you.
Well, I hope so.
I hope they do too. I hope they do
so.
too.
Hope so.
But I think his press conferences, he's won a lot of folks over that were on the fence. Now, some people you're never going to win.
You're going to win over, yeah.
They just it wasn't their man, so they're not going to go there.
Right.
Hopefully they'll get on board because I didn't know, I had no opinion whatsoever, and they didn't ask me my opinion.
Gotcha.
I did talk to one.
You're disappointed they didn't ask for your opinion.
Well, no, because I don't know that I could have come down with somebody I would pick, and I'm glad it wasn't my job. But since they picked him, and he is our coach, I did a little research on him, and he's got a heck of a good winning
Yeah,
record.
he knows how to win, yeah.
Now, some places he's been, he's left some destruction.
Yeah, right.
But, sometimes a tornado does some destruction. Sometimes it doesn't. When it touches down, it normally does a little destruction.
Exactly.
So we hope it doesn't touch down in Auburn and just keep going. But I think it's going to be good. And I think Cadillac has fit into his role real good, seems to be. And he's such a super guy.
Yeah, he is, man.
He's a real good guy. And I think I think the whole thing ought to be good.
Yeah, it's just going to take a little time to build.
Take time to build.
We've got to give him time to build.
What else is going on?
Well, you want to talk about the final football rankings that was going to
let's
bowl
talk about
season?
Let's do we have the top 10?
You got a top 10.
Who's number one?
Number one, because Ray Charles wrote a song about it.
Georgia?
That's it. Georgia's number one.
And they should be.
They should be.
And I'm not real sure their quarterback shouldn't have gotten the Heisman.
I don't know.
Just because he's a winner. I mean, they told him last year when he showed up for camp, they said, what are you doing here? You're not going to play. We've told you you're not going to play. Go back to junior college or wherever he was. And then he started, and then he won the national championship.
Yeah.
He's probably not the best player in the league. And that's
right.
But the guy that got it, is he great?
He's good.
I mean, I've never seen him.
But he came from Oklahoma when Lincoln Riley from last year. Lincoln Riley came to USC.
He went with him.
He went with him. But you know what he said, though? He said, it's an honor to get the Heisman, but he said, all three of you guys got something I don't have. Y'all are playing in the playoffs. Yeah. I'm not.
Well, that was a nice thing to point out.
Exactly.
So the Georgia quarterback was there, TCU quarterback was there, and who else?
I call him Rocky Balboa because I saw him in that championship game.
He's
that boy had some fight in him.
He is something. And he's really, sort of like Georgia's quarterback. They ain't real athletic. I mean,
right.
If they walked in the room with just a polo on and slacks, you'd say, at best, he's a bowler or a baseball player.
That's it.
At best.
Or lacrosse.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But who was the other guy?
C.J. Stroud from Ohio State.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I only saw him play one time,
so
too.
4 quarterbacks. So it was a tight. It's just one of those things that you just have to give it to somebody.
Yeah.
But back in the day, we were used to giving it to somebody who's good and they're winning.
Yeah.
And they're in the
a superstar and in championship matchup kind of stuff.
Exactly. All right.
So we got Georgia's number one. Mm-hmm. Who's number two?
Michigan number two. Got TCU.
You know, and I just, with their coach, bless his heart, he's so goofy. I just can't take them seriously. But apparently they got a pretty good team.
The TCU?
Michigan.
Yeah, they got a good team until they come up on a powerhouse SEC team.
Well, that's normally what does them in.
Yeah.
Now, TCU, I've watched play a couple times this year. They are a lot of fun to watch.
They're a lot of fun to watch. I don't think they'll hang either with the Georgia or somebody like that, but they are fun to watch.
Yeah, they'll give them a good to a halftime.
Good to halftime.
Assuming Georgia's not flat, because Georgia came out flat in a lot of games this year.
And they'll be up for the game against Ohio State.
Now, I mean, they're on the
they'll
championship
be up,
run.
They'll be up for it. It'll be nice to see them down. I don't have a problem with Georgia.
And, you know, people can say what they want to about Tennessee fans and Florida fans and LSU fans. But Ohio State fans, horrible.
They're horrible.
Just horrible.
I got you. Yeah. Okay. Then after them, thank God Alabama did not get the Alabama privilege.
Well, you know, they were just beatable this year.
Yeah.
I mean, since he has been coaching over there, they hadn't been beatable. I mean, you know, you look at them. I mean, you always wonder how anybody even played with them. But this year, they you know, you looked at them and said, they're beatable. So I can understand why they didn't get bolted up into it.
Now, Vegas wanted them in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, they got the largest, next to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they probably got the largest fan base in the world.
So, Vegas is a little unhappy about that. But I thought they were going to give Alabama the Alabama privilege and put them over Ohio State. But they kept them at bay this time.
They sure did.
But anyway, all right. We got some high school basketball. Congratulations to Chilton County. I think somebody's in your office.
Oh, yeah. Catherine's son is the head basketball coach at Chilton County.
Okay.
And
Austin.
They're doing well. They're doing well.
Austin.
I think I gave you a list of the top 25
basketball rankings. You want to call them out?
Yeah, let's go a few of those.
Okay.
Let's go a few of those.
Go ahead.
It is basketball season.
Yes, it is.
Number Purdue, the Boilermakers. What in the world are they doing?
Sounds odd.
I mean, really?
A Boilermaker.
A Boilermaker playing basketball. Who's number two?
Number two, you have Virginia.
That's about standing. I tell you what looks weird is looking at Duke and Kentucky are not in the top 10.
And North Carolina. Well, they're gone now.
I mean,
they had 4 losses.
Did they have 4 losses?
Yeah.
Is Auburn in the top 25? They lost their first game the other night.
Auburn is in the top. They're number 19.
Okay. Yeah, the first time I sat down to watch them play, they played Memphis the other night and we lose. But Memphis is, you know, I tell you the team to watch, it's fun to watch, is Alabama. They got talent.
Yeah.
I mean, and one of their best players, a freshman, a true freshman, I think his name is Miller. Last name is Miller. He's from Tennessee.
Okay.
High school. The last 2 games where they've played, where they've beat number 1 teams, he's their number 1 scorer. He scored 2 points, and they still won.
Okay.
So they're pretty loaded.
I don't like that, but anyway.
Strong.
All right.
And the question is, the Alabama-Auburn games ought to be great this year.
Yeah, because they.
I mean, they sold out already. You can't.
You can't never get the ticket.
Yeah.
I think the students have to spend the night to do the first come, first serve thing.
Exactly.
Not something I really want to do.
No,
but anyway,
I'm not going to be out with them in the cold.
And speaking of Alabama, they're number 4. Tennessee is number 6, and then you got Arkansas in the SEC rounding out.
I watched Arkansas play a game this year. They're pretty fun to watch. I tell you what surprised me. I cut on TV late one night and watched Texas beat Gonzaga. Now Gonzaga obviously has been beat a couple times this year since then.
Okay.
But Texas looks good. Of course, their coach got arrested on a sexual assault or physical assault.
Okay. Are you gonna represent him?
Well,
you don't do it in Texas.
I don't go to Texas.
I got you.
He's out of luck.
Because all your exes live in Texas.
Well, I'm sure 1 or 2 of them do. I mean, there's only 50-something states.
That's all. I got you. Okay. All right.
Oh Lord.
All right.
That may be why my spine's all out of whack.
Exactly. So you've already motivated us with your positivity about your procedures you got to have. So motivate us on your motivational thought.
You know, my motivational talk. I looked at this one today and I decided to go off.
You said go off.
I'm just off the chart all day today.
Okay.
I was thinking, it's Christmas.
Yes, it is.
We just finished Thanksgiving, which is a time to be thankful, and it's Christmas is sort of a time to give.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out Saturday to the Walmart in Opelika and put on my little Santa hat and my little apron and shook the bell for
Salvation Army?
the Salvation Army.
Okay.
And I was shocked at how many folks came over and put $1, $2, $5, $10 change in the bucket.
Okay.
I mean, they filled it up.
Okay.
And it was interesting because that store probably not 10 people that went in there all day used credit cards. So it's a good place to be for cash donations.
Okay.
But to watch everybody stop and say Merry Christmas and stuff like that and just, showing kindness to people, they don't even know who's going to get the money.
True.
I just thought it was overwhelming.
Okay.
And I would encourage everybody listening to take that to heart and, help somebody during the Christmas season. If you can give them money, give them a gift, give them some act of kindness, show a little love,
Mm-hmm.
as they say. But I just think it's time to, be thankful for everything we have,
Mm-hmm.
be grateful for everything we have, and to show some kindness to somebody.
Amen.
And I really saw that in people, and I was surprised. You forget that people, because you cut on the news.
Right.
I quit watching the dadgum news. I quit watching cable news now for about a month, and I cut it on the other night,
And you're like,
and I wanted to throw up.
yeah.
I could not believe there was that much wrong in the world.
Right.
And that much just bad stuff. Politics, politicians, let's just, you just want to lock them all up, start all over. But anyway, it was just great to see tons of people giving, and I was only there an hour and a half,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave all day long coming in and out of that store. So it was just really overwhelming and nice to see. They're still good out there.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah.
No matter all the bad that you hear and
The
get.
bad just gets the headlines.
Yeah, bad gets
They
the
don't
headlines.
go out there and film people putting money in the pot for other people.
You're right about that. I had a gentleman say something the other day I heard. He said one of the greatest gifts that he can have around this time of year is just the gift of being around his family.
Yeah. It's nice.
It is.
Unless
Stuff
you-
we take for granted. I mean, work it out. Even if it's problems, somebody be the bigger person and work it out.
That's right. Exactly right.
Somebody.
I mean, you only be here a certain short time, so make
Exactly.
the best of it.
Exactly.
No sense in leaving scars.
I heard a lady say last week, actually at the Board of Education training I had, she was like holding grudges and stuff. She was like, I am too close to the other side to have any grudges on anybody.
Well, it weights you down.
It weighs you down.
I mean, if you can forgive people for doing bad stuff to you or saying stuff about you or whatever they've done to you, it just lifts it off of you.
Right.
Let Jesus have it.
That's it.
But my grandmother used to say, and I take that to heart, and it works.
And it works. All right.
Let it go.
Profound statement.
Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
And then you light and move around and get on and enjoy life
That's it. You shake it all about.
until you rip your shoulder.
Until you rip your shoulder out and have a procedure done. Gotcha. But a lot of y'all didn't box like he boxed though, and play football
Yeah.
and all that other good contact
It's
sports
catching
stuff.
up with, and that's another thing my grandmother always told me. It's going to catch up with you, these contact sports. You should be playing tennis and golf. And once again, she was right.
She was right.
Because who wants to go lift weights with me at 65 years old? Who wants to box with me at 65? I could be playing tennis or pickleball or golf, but no, that's not what I did.
Okay. All right.
So if you're young, take up a sport like tennis or golf or pickleball so you can do it the rest of your life.
Or crochet. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my Lord. We were going somewhere the other day, and my girlfriend, this makes me feel old.
Okay.
Of course, she's 54 years old.
Okay.
Sweet as she can be.
Uh-huh.
But we're going somewhere, and she starts knitting. I swear to God. She was knitting a scarf the whole trip we were going, and got about halfway through it, it started rolling up on. She said, I used the wrong stitch. I'm going to undo it all and start over. I said, what? She undid it.
You gotta love it. If you're gonna do that, you gotta love it.
Yeah, you got to love it. She always got to be doing stuff.
Okay. All right.
You know, which is fine. I can give her some projects to do around my house.
Okay.
I ain't doing nothing.
I got you. I got a couple too if you run
I was
out.
sitting there this morning. My decorator came in to finish my Christmas decorations.
Uh-huh.
I said, this show is nice.
I got you.
She said, well, I got to get you some more nutcrackers to put around here, but I've got you about 8 or 10, so it looks pretty good. I said, okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
What else we got?
We got a couple of questions here. This question comes from Kenyatta LaGrange, and she said, first of all, to tell you that last show, your suit you had on, you was just too sharp, and yeah, you did look, you know, Sherlock Holmes and stuff like that. I've been following the story of Shanquella Robinson, the young lady that was killed in Mexico.
Terrible.
Yeah, will Mexico or the U.S. be in charge of bringing charges? Because I'm so confused with how the law works on that. And she said, Trip, I know you can break it down for me.
And the next question's sort of the same
Same
thing.
way, okay.
We'll read it too.
Okay, all right. Next question about Shanquella Robinson. They've been watching the news. This is from Shan F. and Lynette. I've been watching different news stories about what happened, but I'm still confused as well. I know you're a lawyer and not a reporter, so can you tell us legally what seems to have happened? Can everyone be charged with her murder that went on that trip?
Well, that's a good question, because at this point, nobody's been charged. You know, let me give you how you spell her name, and if you want to, I would type it in on Google, on your internet, and you can see the video clips. You can see some pretty good interviews with some of the folks that were with her. She spelled her name, S-H-A-N-Q-U-E-L-L-A, Shanquella Robinson. She was a 25-year-old black female. They went down, a group of them went down to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico for some sort of vacation trip. Her friends that she went with originally told everybody she died from alcohol poisoning.
Okay.
However, there are video clips out there showing that people were roughing her up. And then her death certificate indicated spinal injuries and showed basically stuff that only happens from blunt trauma.
Okay.
The officials in Mexico ruled it a femicide, not a homicide, a femicide. And a femicide is a fashionable new way to say when a female is killed.
Okay.
I guess they do melicide for a male, I don't know. But
Okay.
I've never seen this term before, so I looked it up.
Okay.
And femicide is the same as homicide. Of course, the video has gone viral. The Mexican government has issued arrest warrants for one or more of the friends and want to have them extradited back from the United States. The United States can do that. We have an international treaty with Mexico to do that, to work together. It's been in place for 45 years.
Okay.
The FBI has also opened up an investigation, and interestingly enough, no arrests have been made. But it could go either way. The Mexican government can try to prosecute it down there, or the American government can prosecute it up here, or probably, they both could probably do it. Both of them have jurisdiction, just like some, let's just say a big drug case. State and federal government can both prosecute you for the same exact stuff. They normally don't, because big cases go federal and they go away for a long time. So there's no need to bring them back to state court and try the case over again. It's a waste of time and money.
Okay.
But they can. It's not double jeopardy to do that.
Okay.
Which, you know, when you're a young lawyer and you find that out, you're going, wait a minute, this don't sound right at all. What do you mean? You arrested my guy in the county and indicted him for sale of 500 pounds of cocaine, and then he was indicted in federal court, and they both prosecute him at the same time. But typically one of them gives it to the other one.
Okay.
But anyway, this is a very interesting case. It's a sad case. She was a beautiful girl. And I'm sure her family is just dumbfounded that things aren't happening quicker. And something going on. Because the longer it goes, the less likely something's really, going to happen to help them out. But it'll be something we need to keep our eye on.
Okay.
And like I say, you can go on. I plugged her name in this morning in Google, I think.
Okay.
And got 2 or 3 video clips and a couple of commentators that had interviewed people and their thoughts. So I would recommend doing that. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Okay. All right. Next question from Joan B. She's watching from Roanoke, and she have a question about Walmart, the shooting that happened in Virginia. Can Walmart be sued and made to pay the families of the deceased since he was a manager hired by Walmart?
That's a good question. I heard that he might have gone a little insane, so that might be a problem. And it depends on the state law. In Alabama, suing somebody for the criminal acts of another is basically a no-no. You can't do that because it's not foreseeable.
Okay.
Now the question is, could Walmart foresee this guy was going to go crazy and shoot everybody? That's a question that would have to be, answered under Virginia law. But in Alabama, probably not. I've seen tons of cases where people have tried to sue for criminal acts, and most of them are thrown out because they're not foreseeable. In Alabama, that's just the stand they take. The other states do it a different way. Okay. And in Virginia, if they do it a different way, they very well could be sued. I was looking at, we looked up one of the original Sandy Hook shooting. The folks in that shooting sued the mother of the mass shooters. They sued the estate. And the problem with you can always sue the individual who's out there pulling the trigger, but what do they got? Right. And it costs a lot of money to file a lawsuit. A simple car wreck costs $10,000-$15,000 to pursue. I mean, just to running a red light.
So you can imagine this.
So doing a case like that is going to take tons of money, and experts get involved. It really runs up the bill. So the question is, why would you can't throw good money after bad or good money after no money. Okay. So that's the problem with suing an individual. You have to have a target like a Walmart to make it worthwhile to sue. Okay. And they can certainly try it, and they probably certainly will. And then the question is, does it go through the court system, or does it get thrown out somewhere along the way? All right, Trip, before we end the show, we're just about out of time. I'm not. You're not going to do it? No, not leaving. Santa Claus is watching you. Santa Claus is coming. Tell them how to get in contact with you and Santa Claus. No, if they need your service. I have no idea. You don't? No. I do know we changed from .net to .com. So okay. Anytime you email or go on our website, www.waltonlaw.com, but you can call 334-321-3000. Our main office is in Auburn. We have an office in Montgomery, and we go to anybody's house that needs us to come see you. And we do primarily criminal work in Alabama. We don't do any criminal work in Georgia, but we do car wrecks, truck wrecks, wrongful death cases all throughout Alabama and Georgia. And so that's what we do, and that's where we are. All right. Well, I enjoyed the show, man. Can you tell them bye? Peace. So, see ya.
We don't start the fight, we finish it.
Car accident, DUI, wrongful death? Contact the Walton Law Firm, 334-321-3000.